afternoon to all those who are with me right now. Apologies, there are quite a number of things that happens to us before coming on air. Anyways, welcome to another interesting episode of Real Talk with Kike. They say we witness the birth of ambitious initiative, launch with favor and of course hope, only to witness their premature demise as the baton of power, changes hands. And do we say that is it a lack of foresight or a disregard, for the future, or a mere consequences of political gamesmanship, if you ask me? Again, I welcome you to another interesting episode of Real Talk with Kike. I remain your chief host, Kike Atanda-Owo. I think it's important for us to quickly hear what this day in history has for us. Stay with me and I'll be right back. All right, many thanks for staying with me. I feel this event, raises concerns about the safety and quality of, cosmetics products available in the markets. People keep developing different types of cancer, and we can claim that we don't know the reasons, but the question is sometimes or most times is about what we rub in our body. People are dying on a daily basis because of the greed of some people, and it is crucial for me to use this platform, to actually continue to drive the advocacy for agencies involved to make immediate action by conducting thorough investigation, shutting down the illegal operations of all these of the issue at hand, and of course, prosecuting those responsible for this. So in order for us to address such issues effectively, if you ask me, on this platform on Real Talk with Kike, I feel that it's necessary for NAFDAC, and other relevant agencies to ensure that there is surveillance, yes, surveillance, that's the word I want to use, in monitoring all of these systems, so that there will be checks and balances and all of that. I think that's the message for us on this day in history segment. Let's go on a quick break to get a message from my sponsor. Stay with me and the conversation will continue when we return. All right, many thanks for staying with me. They said the political temperature in Kano is high, and of course, Kano State Governor Abakabri Yusuf and other party stalwarts supervised the demolition exercise at the Hajj camp area, and of course the former Daula Hotel as well, leased out under public-private partnership, that's PPP, for shopping, for the shopping mall rather, and of course the plaza, among others, that were demolished. And of course this was coming barely 24 hours after he led the demolition of a 3-story building with 90 shops along race, which caused quite a number of the distractions and reactions from the people of Kano State, and of course the road popularly known as Filin Sukua. I hope I pronounced that properly. So the foundation led with sweat and will I say toil, because the sweat of hardworking citizens now bear the weight of the uncertainty in the country in Kano State, and of course the educational policies that were meticulously implemented in the educational sector now becoming a subject of investigation. So my question now is, what was once deemed essential is now abandoned, replaced by new agendas, if you ask me. And the cost of this, disjointed governance is immeasurable, if you ask me. It's not just a loss of time or resources, it's a loss of faith in the system, a loss of trust in the promises of a better tomorrow. And on the live show today, my guest who is supposed to be joining me, providing answers to these questions behind all this demolition and the changes in educational policies in the state over time, which has also been a reason for the analyzing the former governor of Kano State, that is Abdullahi Ganduji's legacy in Kano State. I must say this on this platform, that I want to question the people in authority in Kano State, because it seems as if they are incompetent and they do not have respect for time for our work, because this is the second time I believe that I'm bringing in people who are in the corridor of power, who understand what time management is, who understand policies, who understand implementation and governance, and they have found wanting when it comes to finding solutions of shedding light on issues that we have on ground. And it shows that there's a backwardness that is going on in Kano State, if you ask me. And I'm actually calling them out, because I feel that most times when we Nigerians are trying to actually try to hold our leaders accountable when it comes to transparency and the trust from the citizens and the people, this is where you see that there's a lot of lack in terms of miscommunication. There are issues going on right now in Kano State that can lead to a lot of, I don't want to use certain words right now, but the tension that is being built right now based on all this demolition, based on the fact that, Kwankwan so built a gigantic building for the educational system to continue to add value and bring impact to that state. We have seen all that have transpired, and I must say that the present governor of Kano State, I hope that all of this trend that is going on, the pattern at which we are trying to call them for them to shed more light and throw light on certain issues, and they are found wanted, even despite the fact that they've given their word that they will be coming on the show. I do not understand why we cannot hold our government accountable on a lot of things, for them to share light on challenges that affect us all as Nigerians. I will go on a quick break now. When I return, my colleague and I will continue the conversation. Stay with me. I'll be right back. All right, many thanks for staying with me. This is Real Talk with Kike, and of course, like I said earlier, I will be talking on the topic. I will be touching on the topic of the demolition that took place in Kano State, and of course, I'm not here alone. I'm with one of the senior colleague, one of my colleague in the Silverbird platform. Is a senior news editor, Akim Ishola. Many thanks for doing this with me. And I must say that, I want to use today's show to actually call the government of Kano State out, because I feel that they have done this on Real Talk with Kike. This is the second time, and I hate when people who understand communication, people who they put in charge of communication, cannot be held responsible when it comes to shedding light on issues that affect us as Nigerians. And knowing that most states, in Nigeria today actually follow suit with what Lagos State is doing, I do not think that you would call on any commissioner or SSG or secretary to the press government, and they've confirmed that they will be on the show. You chatted with them, you communicated with them up until few minutes before coming on air, and you realize that they chicken out at the last minute, which is part of the challenges I feel that we are facing right now when it comes to trust issue and transparency. Now, going going back to what is happening right now in Kano, because the Kano indigents or indigenous people are bitter right now, just like the way I'm a bit, I'm fuming, if you ask me, because the destruction there is unnecessary. We've seen how, when it comes to continuity of projects, we've seen how they have misbehaved, when power is changing hands and all of that. And there's some questions I need to ask right now, that why are all of this destruction going on right now? Are there no other ways of addressing issues other than for them to pull down all the structures that money went into, revenue went into, and impacting people? I understand that some of the buildings that were pulled down before was an educational center. Before, another administration came and said, I want to change it into a mall. Another administration is coming in now and is saying, no, I want to pull it down again. Many people believe that in Africa we should have gone beyond the culture of discontinuity from government to another. So I must ask you, as my colleague, and many thanks again for coming to lend your voice on the issue at hand. I know you do a fantastic job, and I must say you're good looking. Yeah, I'm allowed to say that even though I'm married. Yes, and I say a good man say. So what is the sense of this discontinuity from established projects and monuments in Kano State that have even beautified the environment? What do you have to say to all of this?
Okay, let me start by saying that it's sad, like you rightly said, when you have people in government who are supposed to be accountable to the people and who shy away from speaking and connecting with the people. It's extremely sad. And it's unfortunate, because clearly the role of the media as the fourth estate of the realm is to hold government accountable to the people.
Absolutely.
And for me, it's a win-win. We are the bridge between the people and the government. Absolutely. And your job as government officials is to serve the people. And when you have the privilege to speak to the people, to explain exactly what you are doing, you're not doing anybody any favor. So, and it's sad when you see government officials who think that speaking to the media is a favor. It's not a favor. As a matter of fact, it's one of their key responsibilities, because you cannot lead people that you cannot speak to and carry along in what you're doing. Having said that, the current commissioner for information in Kano State is a very senior colleague, a former president of the Nigerian Guild of Editors, one that we respect so much. I take it for granted that if he's in the picture of this arrangement, he's probably just settling down. But we have that problem across many states in Nigeria, and it's really unfortunate. Having said that, the situation in Kano, sometimes I don't know whether to smile or to cry, because I have followed the politics in Kano, and I have seen the back and forth, the old Kwankwasia movement, and how the immediate past governor broke out from that movement, and all the things that he did, including upturning or removing the emir of Kano, which was also a very big issue. I remember that creating, breaking the emirates into 10. The Kano Emirates, broke it down and then appointed several, people, to head the various emirates. That also was a big political issue, and that for me also, I thought that was a bit too far, considering the fact that we're still struggling to have traditional institutions to stabilize and to have the kind of respect and the kind of impact that we expect from them, or that they even clamor for. Looking historically, they at some point, were very, serious stakeholders in terms of not just custodians of the culture, but they were also very key in terms of, connecting with the people and helping, serving as a link between the people and the political leadership. But from what we have seen in the past few days, I listened to the former governor of Kano State, Rabi Kwankwaso, the other day, and he spoke about how, it's quite funny. And then I'm just wondering, he spoke about how, of course, the praying ground in Kano, I've been there before, it's quite, it's an historical ground, no doubt. But he talked about how a building was erected somewhere, around the praying ground, how it is easy for someone to be there and shoot the governor, or shoot a VIP or something. In my head, I thought that, can that be the only reason why you need to pull down all the structures around that place? I mean, you cannot tell me, and this is my argument most of the time, you cannot tell me that everybody in government, all at the same time, were also, I don't want to use the word stupid, to give approvals and just build things just anyhow, just because they are in power. That's not possible. So there are still some institutions in place that look after what should be erected where. So I find it funny, some of the explanations, I understand the politics of it, and the politics of reversal, which again, like you rightly said, is retrogressive. It's not in any way helpful, to the development of the country. So, but that's what we have.
All right. Many thanks for your perspective on the topic at hand. And I want to use this opportunity to say that it's not the Commissioner of Information that I reached out. It was actually the SSD, which is Dr. Abdullahi, that was supposed to come on this platform to actually shed light on issues at hand. As at today, up until 2 hours before I came on air, and still chatting with the guest that was supposed to come was actually, the press secretary to the governor right now. That's Sanusi Baturi. Right. And I'm disappointed with the way they both conducted themselves thus far, because I feel that media is actually the one bridging the gap between the government and its citizens. But moving away from that, because we are in an environment where rule of law is not respected anymore. I try to keep it real on this platform, because firms affected in this demolition have headed to court. The question is, I'm asking Ishola, are we sure that them heading to court, demanding for 10 billion, justice will be served? Because, compensation from Kano State, I don't know how that will come from the company owners that have said that unfortunately they were not notified before all of this demolition take place, and which is one of the challenges that I feel that I have when it comes to government and its people and its citizens. We are the one that actually put them in that corridor of power. The question is, there should be room for dialogue. I keep telling people that also the timing of implementing certain things, I feel that government is not sensitive to it. So bringing this to Kano State as an example again is that, imagine you waking up to seeing structures that were supposed to be adding some level of beauty to your environs, and it's been demolished. So do you think that this government right now, Hakeem, do you think that they are prepared to start off well? Because with all these stories that is on ground, with the fact that they are saying that they are going to court and all of that, how do you think that the impact of this government is not going to be, will be affected, especially when it comes to education? Kwankwaso that you mentioned earlier is somebody that I respect so much, especially when it comes to education, and is well read, is somebody who have added value to that place. I know how many scholarship he has given to the people of Kano when it comes to, adding value to them and empowering them, developing them and all of that. I do not think that this present government is going to meet the people halfway, especially when it comes to education and of course health, because demolishing a structure that is supposed to be adding value to the citizen. Many countries today, there are many countries abroad, that in Sweden and so many places, that they give free education, maybe Cuba, from incentive to university stage. We are still here. We are still battling with tax money. We are still struggling with education, health sector. When our leaders are traveling for just malaria challenges or toothache problem. So I'm asking myself right now, why on earth will Kano government start demolishing all of this property? Again, I must give kudos to the lady who built that monument in front of the state house government. It's actually a woman. Imagine a woman who is an architect that is adding value in an environment where women are seeking for inclusion. Please ask me. I'm pretty much upset on this present administration. I do not see them as people that can be held accountable for all the issues that are going on, and also with the fact that they've gone to the companies have gone to the court. Are we sure that going to the court now, because going to the court now has become a mantra? Everybody will say go to court. You've seen our President Muhammadu Buhari has said he doesn't want anything happening on the street. You people should go to court. So it has become a mantra. So how do you think that justice will be served in all of this?
Well, I understand your fears and the fears of majority of Nigerians in terms of, the justice system and how slow it can really be. But I can assure you that, like they say, the wheel of justice grinds slowly, but, surely. So I think that regardless of whether or not you want to bother about the influence of the executive on the judiciary, I think that largely the judiciary is able to, at critical times, and we have seen historically, come, through for the ordinary people and the ordinary Nigerians and those who need justice. So I believe that, again, the unfortunate part is that it could really be slow. And again, you know what they say about justice delayed is justice denied. But to say that to rule out or rule or condemn the judiciary to say there's no hope, I would rather say that the only challenge could be that the process could be really slow. But I think that at some point perhaps reasons will prevail and the government will probably try to have consultations. And as you rightly observed too, one of the things that a lot of people have said is that the speed at which the government had deployed to bring down some of these structures makes you begin to wonder exactly to whose interests. And it then begins to look more like governance is not, again, about the people, but about the political players who think that, okay, I will do to you what you have done to me, I'll probably do worse. So, and it's quite unfortunate because that shouldn't be the essence, of governance. It should be about the people, about development, and about, building human capital and also trying to build infrastructure.
Right.
And so it's that's the problem, really, if you ask me. And whether or not this government can actually do anything meaningful, well, that's we'll be able to say about that, as time goes on. But again, it looks like it's more like these people, the people in government at the moment. It looks like it doesn't look like the focus is on the people that they govern.
I'm sorry,
what we have seen,
government is about their selfish interest.
For what we have seen.
But apologies, I'll have to interrupt your line of thought. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return, hopefully we'll be able to connect with our guests. Stay with me. I'll be right back. All right, many thanks for staying with me. And in case you're just joining today's conversation, it's about the recent happenings in Kano State after a change in administration from former Governor Abdullahi Ganduje to Governor Abba Yusuf. And we've seen how all the spree of demolition and some discontinuity in projects and policies, implemented by the previous government, and we've been, finding answers to this real talk since our two guests from Kano State have been unreachable, despite giving us firm confirmation. I want to say many thanks to you, Akim Ishola. He's the senior news editor in Silverbird Platform, doing fantastic job right there. Please look out for him on air. And of course, I understand that we have Mr. Sanusi Batiru now, who is joining us via our virtual lines. And I want to say, let me quickly usher him in. Are you there, sir?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Yeah, excellent afternoon. Before I come to you, let me quickly open our phone lines. Remember that you can be part of this conversation by calling the studio number 988-774-00, showing on your screen right now. And of course, we're streaming live from Facebook and of course on YouTube page, both on Real Talk with Kike platform and on Silverbird platform. Sir, I must say to you that I'm a little bit disappointed, especially when it comes to respect for time. And I think that, media have continued to bridge the gap between the government and its people. And I feel that it's not actually right when things like that happens, even though we are grateful that, you honored our invitation. But putting that aside, let's go straight, because I know that we have just few minutes now to round up the show. The party chairman of APC, I want to go political now. That's Adamu laments the loss of Kano to NNPP He blamed it on selfishness. And if APC had won Kano State after Ganduje, what sort of narrative do you think will be going on right now? Do you think that all this demolition will come to fall?
Well, I think there has been so many misrepresentation about this whole issue of demolition in Kano State. But before then, I will have to apologize. I am currently on official assignment in Saudi Arabia. So there may be some challenges with my schedule because I am only got aware of this program 2 hours ago. If you're talking about people, Kano is highly populated state with over 20 million people. And this demolition, we have not demolished anybody's private residence. The demolition is taking place in public places which were illegally built or illegally possessed by private individuals. Let me just mention the few places that have been affected by this demolition. The first place is the race course. Race course is a public park where people used to do exercise, and it's a relaxation area. And Ganduje's administration took part of this place and built plaza, commercial area. You understand? And that area is permanently built as a public park, and there is need for security. And if you build a plaza in a public park, then the whole purpose of the place is defeated. For one, security, and then the serene environment that is supposed to happen in the public park is not going to be there. So governor demolished that place. The second place is the former Daula Hotel. For the record, former Daula Hotel is part of Kano University of Science and Technology. It's given to that university during Konkoso's administration, and it has over 3,000 students. Some of these students are doing IJMB, some are doing remedial science pre-degree, some are doing diploma and HND in hospitality management. But unfortunately, these students were chased away by Ganduje's administration. He demolished the entire structure, sold the place to private individuals, and then they are now constructing a plaza. This is quite unfortunate. You chase away students of a university and then commercialize the area. So therefore, the new governor decided to really maintain the status of that place. And what many people don't know, Engineer Abba Kabir Yusuf, as a private citizen 2 years ago, took his pen and paper, invited his lawyers, and filed a case against Ganduje for vandalizing that public place, for vandalizing the university space in former Daula Hotel. And because of the power that be, the court, the case couldn't really see the light of the day. So now he has the executive power to do what is needful, and he has done that. That's second thing. And then the third location is the Kano Eid ground. This Eid ground is the ancient prayer ground for Kano State, where the governor, the emir used to pray every year. And the place is at the center of the Kano ancient city, and it has been sold out. It has been turned to a semi-market, and it's a prayer ground that has been reserved for that purpose alone. And then it was sold to different individuals, and there's no need the government can allow such things to happen because of the respect we have for our religion. And then other places are the Kano city walls, which has been adopted by Nigeria, by the federal government as a national monument. So Kano City Wall is a national monument under the Nigeria Bureau for, I think it's National Monument and Museums. And that has been bastardized as well. And then other places are primary school buildings, secondary school buildings, hospitals, and what have you.
All right, I think we've
lost. Hospital. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Yes, a pediatric hospital that was built in the last 30 years has been sold to one of the APC stalwart in Kano State. The hospital was closed and was sold to private individual, a hospital that treats children, a hospital that treats at least 1,000 children every month. is sold to private individual. It was closed down, and the hospital was shifted to another location and merged with another hospital. So therefore, these are critical decisions that the governor must do for him to provide justice to the teeming population of Kano State. It's not about private individual. It's not about just destroying somebody's legacy. There's no any legacy that Ganduje built that is actually destroyed. If you talk about the Kano State Government House roundabout as well, it has been built using polythene. It has been built using substandard materials, and it has blocked the view of the government house, and it has been expert certified that roundabout can collapse within the next 1 year. And for us to provide justice to the Kano State people, because government is about protecting lives and properties of the people, so we have to bring it down before it collapses and probably kill some people. So some decisions are necessary. And then issue of demolition is a very key priority, and we have mentioned it during the campaign activities, and it has been part of the blueprint of His Excellency that he is going to reclaim any public building that has been sold to private or individual individual or group of people. So therefore, we are just fulfilling the campaign promises on the basis of which Kano State people has voted Engineer Abba Kabir Yusuf.
All right, many thanks for shedding light on the issue at hand. And I think that what you have just, put out there is almost similar to what happened in Lagos as well. When you look at where TVC is actually located, TVC building used to be Last Protect before NAA, and all of that. But putting that aside, with all the robust information that you've put out there now, it reflects more of personal vendetta, because the current governor Abba Kabiru has reinstated anti-corruption agency chief Muyi Mogaji, that's the former governor Ganduje that is sacked. Is there more to it than what meets the eye? Would that be anti-corruption chief being used against all the inner plot of Ganduji's administration?
Well, first of all, Muyi was appointed for the first and second time by Governor Ganduje. So, and then he was also suspended by Ganduje for a reason been known to many people, which Muyi has tried to invest contract that the first family has some interest. So on that basis, they suspended him. Muyi exercised his personal liberty to go to court to claim justice. And Muyi was given justice where he won the case in the court of law. So Engineer Abba Kabir Yusuf, as somebody that respects the rule and somebody that respects the judiciary, is just obeying the court order. Nothing other than this. So anybody who has been victimized by the previous administration and decided to go to court and won in the case, then should be given justice. So it's just respecting the rule of law by His Excellency and nothing other than that. Muyi has been known to be a fearless human being. Muyi has done remarkably well in terms of anti-corruption in Kano State, and he was appointed by Governor Ganduje and he was suspended by Governor Ganduje. He went to court and he was able to win the case. And then the current governor is doing nothing other than respecting the rule of law, respecting the court order to reinstate other than that.
All right. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So thank you very much again for showing up. I listened to you, and I think I remember listening to the former governor speaking about some of these places you have talked about. But I still, trying to understand the issue of public places, being developed by private individuals. I'm saying that, what about, the general standards, procedures to reclaim whatever it is that have been taken illegally by anyone? Because these individuals, as you have pointed out, or as you have, told us here, also got approvals from a sitting government that has the authority, to approve such projects. So what has happened to the procedure to notify them and give them the opportunity to seek, for some kind of, understanding perhaps compensation and all of that, because it is not the fault of the individual that he has invested money, and gotten relevant approvals from a government identified or recognized by law.
Well, there's informal way and the formal way. Informally, before the campaign period, His Excellency, as I told you earlier, has taken this matter to court, trying to prevent Ganduje from selling these properties to himself and to his cronies. And that didn't work. During the campaign period, we put this issue in our blueprint, and then we use it for 2023. And people understood what is devoted for Engineer Abba Kabir Yusuf. And the third issue is that these places were 70% allocated to the first family. And then they know. Well, I really wonder why people didn't understand the concept of this demolition. If you go to Kano, a lot of places, primary school, secondary school, university, places of lecture theaters were demolished, and residential areas were constructed in the same place. You understand? A school that has about 10,000 students that is lacking classes, you understand, was allocated to private individuals. So therefore, with this informal notice, I think it's enough people to understand that we are not here for a joke. That's one. And secondly, when we started the first and the second, the government decided, okay, to allow, because when the governor came, there was no, we have what is called Kano Urban Planning Authority. And there was nobody in charge of that area because the governor has dissolved all political appointments. So within the first week, he appointed a managing director of Kano Urban Planning and Development Authority. Therefore, this agency has been saying that. So therefore, apart from the first tranche of this demolition, other demolitions are taking place after a few days' notice in accordance with the law. So the agency will go, mark the places and then give notice, and then demolition takes effect immediately after the notice expires.
For that, I have two questions for you, and I will appreciate if you can, answer quickly because we're trying to manage time. I think my first question to you is the new administration in Kano, still under your principal, that has vital, plans for the health sector. And according to Punch news, it says that Kano government, stops at 16.25% deductions on Kano hospitals in terms of IGR. How would this deduction reflect or help the health sector in Kano State, which is a crucial one at the moment, if you ask me? The second question is, how can we break free from the shackles of discontinuity and embrace a future where projects are completed and policies are, endured with all that is going on right now? Because I feel that the health sector and the issue of politics has actually changed the future of the state. What's your take on this?
Well, first of all, government come, government goes. But what is important is ideology. We have different ideologies between the current administration and the previous administration of Ganduje. And this ideology is actually what brought the serious political rancor between us in the last 80 years. Because Ganduje was anointed by Senator Rabi Musa from the real ideology of Konkosia movement. And that's the reason for actually defecting from APC to join PDP at that time, and later also defecting from the APC to join the New Nigeria Peace Party, because we want to really implement our own ideology that has been set out by Senator Rabi Musa Konkoso in his first tenure in 1999 2003, and then in 2011 to 2015. That's one. That's very basic. And we can continue with something that, like the issue of Muhi Magaji as the anti-corruption boss, is actually an appointment done by Ganduje, and we are reinstating him because we know that Muhi is capable of his work. And then just last week, the Kano State Internal Revenue Services chairman has been also reappointed. This same person was appointed by Ganduje during his first tenure, and he was also chased away by the same Ganduje. Also, but because we know that is a person who is capable of doing that work, and we came to this government at a very critical time when we need resources to implement the projects and policies of His Excellency Engineer Abba Kabir Yusuf, then the governor reappointed Alhaji Sani Abdulkadir Dambo as the chairman of Kano Internal Revenue Service, who was also sacked by Ganduje. So this is part of the continuity that we are talking about. So we cannot continue on something that we know this is very wrong. On the issue of the health sector, His Excellency see the health sector as a social service, and then is a second point in his blueprint. After education, his priority area is health sector. And he promised to give free maternal and child health services in Kano State. And for him to do that, he needs to really mobilize resources for the health sector through direct and indirect channels of mobilizing resources, and then engage the philanthropists and other donor agencies to ensure that the health sector is well financed. So therefore, if you look at the economic standard of a very significant percent of the Kano population, there are people who are in abject poverty and people who cannot take care of themselves in terms of health care services. So therefore, if somebody comes to the hospital and he will be charged an amount, so therefore, he's trying to provide a lot of services free of charge instead of charging any, and trying to renovate the health facilities, provide enough human resources for health in accordance with the blueprint of His Excellency that has been designed before the election. You understand? And even this Hasia Pediatric Hospital that I mentioned earlier is part of this health sector reform agenda for His Excellency. And we cannot just allow
unfortunately
to be owning public properties. Rumors for being that this is a public place.
All right, many thanks, Mr. Sanusi, for your for shedding light on the issue on Kano State right now. I think we have to move to the last segment. Unfortunately, we don't have much time right now. Let me see if I can touch on one story, which is one of the trending stories. These are stories that bind us, that affect us as Nigerians. And the only trending story I'll be able to touch on because of time is the judges, elected politicians that get 114% salary increase. Let me quickly say this before I come to you both. I just feel that from an objective, standpoint, it is essential to acknowledge, that the review of these remuneration packages for politicians or political judiciary and public officers is a matter that requires careful consideration. I like to find balance on this table because factors such as economic, conditions, the budgetary constraints, and the overall welfare of the masses should be taken into account as well. So considering all of this with the masses, while it is still important to address remuneration concerns of the politicians or the political personnel, the judicial and public officers, equal attention should be given to the welfare of the masses, especially when it comes to the inflation right now, the fall in particular when it comes to power, when it comes to subsidy removal, and of course the unemployment are significant when it comes to the challenges that affect the livelihood of the ordinary citizens out there. So I'm asking in pain, considering the context of a struggling economy with high debt levels and poor internal generated revenue, which is the IGR, I'm asking myself, the government's financial constraints must be taken into account. So therefore, any remuneration review should be accompanied by measures. That's where I'm coming from. As in for us to be able to mitigate the impact of all these challenges on the general population, such as implementing job creation, and of course the job creation initiative I meant, and of course the policies to stabilize the economy at the moment. Transparency and accountability processes is something that I'm sorry to say we've been struggling with over the years, and it has become a culture, it has become a pattern. I try to keep it real on this platform. The review process should be transparent, involving stakeholders from different sectors, including civil society organizations and labor unions and the like. How can you propose upward salary review for a few, while the majority workers in Nigeria are earning less than the average cost of living? It is necessary for us to approach this matter with careful consideration and a focus on the welfare of the masses. A comprehensive assessment, if you ask me, is necessary. Transparency process is also important, considering of all the overall economic situation that we find ourselves. I know how much naira is per dollar, and the long-term sustainability are vital element that I feel that should guide the decision-making process of all of this increment of 114% and all of that. In most organizations are still struggling to review salary. Are they increase salary in silver bed today? Please tell me if they have actually. With how many percent? When you look at all those percentage and all of that, you are looking at our government, it seems as if they are enriching their pockets and the citizens are suffering. But quickly, I don't know if you can quickly give your 2 cents before Moses start running commentary in my ears.
Well, I'm happy you said it's a proposal, because they have come out to say it's actually
a proposal because quite a number of people have taken it out.
But regardless, it's an unfortunate proposal. I also know that this process has been on for quite a while. It's not like this proposal was done just yesterday
since 6 months ago.
Yeah, it's been done for a while, because there have been that conversation about the need to review the remuneration of public office holders, elected officials especially. But in any case, I still think that even with all that we have had to deal with in the last 4 years, it will be out of place to contemplate review of salaries of public office holders when we still talk about unemployment there, still there. Inflation has been again. So and the general, as a matter of fact, let's look at the percentage of Nigerians who hold public office.
Exactly.
Put that side by side with those who don't even have jobs, and those who are not privileged to be in government, who work in the private sector and elsewhere. And we all deal with the same market. So for me, I think again, I just take it for granted that this proposal will not see the light of day. I take it for granted. I assume and I want to believe, that the president will look at this and say this is not what we should be having, talking about at this time.
All right, quickly, let me come to Mr. Sanusi. Are you there? Sanusi, can you hear me?
Yes, I am, Kike.
Fantastic. What's your
yes, very well.
Yeah, what's your take on these trending stories of the increase in salary for
elected officials?
Elected officials.
Well, Kike, you have spoken well like a civil society activist, and this is a federal government decision. I have lost my right to speak on the issues that are not related to Kano State Governor being his press secretary. So I will not say anything on this issue because it doesn't concern Kano State.
Many thanks again. I think that I've forgiven you for coming late on the show.
Well, maybe when you hear Kano State Government is going to domesticate this same policy, then I can be able to.
With that, we've come to the end of another interesting episode of Real Talk with Kike, and of course, many thanks to Akim Bishola, the senior news editor in Silverbird Television. Thank you for all the wonderful jobs, of course, for holding government accountable and lending our voice to change in the society that we found ourselves. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. This is where we draw the curtains of the show. And to my team behind the cameras, many thanks again for always trying to, calm me down when I found myself in a tension situation. Thank you so much, all. It takes all. There's what I call there's power beyond one. It's a teamwork, and I say thank you to you guys. I do not take it for granted. On this note, this is where I draw the curtains of the show. Till I come your way next week, please remain kind to one another and stay calm despite the situation that we found ourselves economically in this country. My name is Kike Atanda-Owo. Bye now.